but using the yoke can be really awkward compared to a traditional steering wheel. Its shape makes sharp turns, parking maneuvers, and navigating small, busy parking lots more complicated than what most drivers are likely used to.
As you can see, the yoke makes absolutely no sense when you're trying to apply. Don't let anybody tell you this is a good idea. I can't believe it's illegal, to be honest. It's just daft.
There is only one thing, really, that's controversial about the new Model S, and that's the steering wheel, or the yoke, the steering yoke.
Unless you've been living under a rock, you probably haven't noticed this, but Tesla seems to have a bit of an obsession with yokes. We first saw it in the next generation Tesla Roadster, which was introduced in December of 2017. And then we saw it in the Cybertruck. And of course, the new Model S ships with a yoke. But did you know it actually goes back further than that? Matter of fact, the drawing on the Model 3, that, free thing that you got for reserving a Model 3, it was in there too. So today I'm going to try and fulfill Franz's dream and put a yoke in my Model 3. In order to do this job, you're going to need some very basic tools. You're going to need a long-handled flat screwdriver, or maybe something like a long Allen key to pull out the airbag. You're also going to need a 10mm socket, so this end maybe a 3/8 driver. Lastly, you're also going to need something like a breaker bar like this to remove the steering wheel. It's under a lot of torque, so you need something hard to get lots of leverage on that. But before we begin, we need to do some few safety things, namely shut down the car, unplug the 12-volt system, and pull the 12-volt out of the rear seat of the car, mainly because we're dealing with an airbag. I don't want that to go off, so it's good to be a little bit safe. Also, don't forget, roll down your driver's side window, because when you unplug the 12-volt system, you won't be able to unlock the car. Now that the car's shut down, we can actually remove the airbag. So just take your Allen key, and there's two holes, one on either side of the steering wheel. You just gotta kind of push it in there, and then you should feel a little spring. So the trick is you gotta use two Allen keys at the same time. And, well, you gotta play with it a little bit. It's tougher than it looks. Come on, there we go. There we go. So take your airbag module and set that aside. Let's talk about this steering wheel. So here's the stock one and here's the new one. You can see that they actually indeed use a Model 3 core as a starting point, but you can see here the shape is a little different. We have to remove the wiring harness here for the buttons, as well as the clipping mechanisms, all of this stuff. So the best way to do that is to flip it over on this side and just push in on these little clips. And then that way that should just release most of this clipping mechanism here. And then all we have to do is take our Torx screwdriver and go in here and just undo these. There's, it looks like to be 3 bolts. Not 4 bolts, I'm sorry. 4 bolts. And then one more right on this side. Okay. Here's the core. We actually have to remove the spring clip as well for the airbag. But here are the electronics, so we'll just undo these 3 and then transfer it over to the new one. Just a quick overview here. You can see here the spring clip, and this is why I suggested that you put in a flathead screwdriver or an Allen key. When you push on both of these simultaneously, you can see here that it lifts up the clips out of the way so that it releases the airbag. So you got to do it from both sides and put it in there. But anyways, when you do that, that releases the airbag. And now we'll just reverse the process. Take our clip, slide it in. There, one there, just like so. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to reuse the cord. There's no sense in reinventing the wheel. Everything works fine. At least I know it works, right? Take our screws and put them back in. And then you just take these and just push these little clips back in. Double check everything, make sure everything's nice and tight. These buttons, by the way, this is for actuating the horn. So you can see here, you can push down in any 3 position, that pushes the horn down. Okay, I think she's back together, looking really sweet. Let's just go and reverse the process, put it in the car. As I said, installing it's just the reverse process. Just make sure you got your steering wheel kind of lined up. And you can't screw this up, by the way, because it's keyed. It only goes on one way. There it is. There we go. Let's put in our bolt. And we'll use our breaker bar here to throw some torque on it. Doesn't need to be crazy because, like I said, you're not pulling on the darn thing. Clip back in here for the buttons. And now our airbag module goes on this side. Just make sure that there's nothing out of the way. Everything's nice and secure. The buttons are working. Satisfying click. All lined up. And push. Clickety click. Barb a trick. Wow, that already looks futuristic. All right, so I guess we just have to reconnect the battery and button this thing up. Take it for a drive, and I'll let you know what I think. And we'll have a little discussion about this because I have my thoughts on this compared to, you know, what the Model S is doing and what Tesla's doing on other cars potentially in the future. All right, here we are, guys. The yoke is installed, and I'm actually going to take the very first drive with this, and I'll give you my impressions as I drive. The first thing I want to mention here is I'm actually going to deliberately not think about the steering wheel. I'm not going to look at it. I just want to get a general feel for it and see how it behaves or how my brain kind of adjusts to this. Okay, so the first thing is that it feels so much more open in here. Oh my gosh. There's like nothing up here and I can see outside the car. Now, most of you who've driven Model 3s, you know that the visibility out the front is exceptional, given, you know, that the dash and the windshield is so much lower, but wow, this is amazing. Second thing, and I'm noticing this right away, of course, with the shape of the steering wheel being flatter on the bottom, it's actually more comfortable. I'm not a driver that does the 10 and 2 thing. I'm a down here kind of person, and just resting my right arm on the armrest, it's a much easier reach to get to the bottom of the steering wheel than before. I think this is going to be really nice for autopilot. Oh yeah, okay, that's kind of a natural thing. I'm not missing the top at this point. So far so good. There's a traffic circle. Well, let's see how this goes around the corner. Okay. Not bad. So far so good. Let's try it with this hand. I normally drive with this hand on this side. Yeah, this is nicer. I don't find my arm twisted quite as much. It's actually flatter in this sense to go around. Here's another traffic circle. I have like 8 traffic circles in my neighborhood. It's going to be quite nice to test when I get FSD, if I ever get FSD. Well, so far I'm liking this. This doesn't feel alien. It doesn't feel weird. Let's go to a parking lot over here. There's a school, and maybe I'll do a 3-point turn or reverse or something. Okay, so this felt a little weird. I just kind of moved it like that, and I had to grab that edge. I have to let go of that lizard brain part of my mind to let go of that. Okay, put it in park. Okay, so here's another thing. The stocks are still here, which I think is actually a bonus because a lot of people that have been getting the Model S obviously doesn't have any stocks. Everything's on the steering wheel. And personally, I think, and let's talk about this for just a second here, because I think this is the main thing that's going to set something like this as an aftermarket thing for your Model 3 or maybe even your Model Y, as opposed to the yoke on the new Model S, which obviously doesn't have any stocks, is that they've put everything, all of the buttons on the steering wheel, including turn signals, the horn, that kind of thing. So, you know, if you put the wheel upside down like this and you're in a turn, how do you turn on the blinkers? Well, you're going to have to use the buttons, but guess what? They're upside down now. Personally, I think this is actually a better option Now, obviously, Tesla's not going to revert. They're not going to go back and put stocks on a Model S. You know, it is what it is on the steering wheel. But I think this is a really good combination. We still have the traditional stocks, so we can get at our turn signals and stuff. And we have the original buttons on the Model 3 steering wheel, so we can still operate things like, you know, your cruise control speed and your volume, your music, and that kind of thing. So right now, I'm going to tell you, this is a very good combination. Obviously, a steering wheel like this is not for everyone, but I'm telling you, I got used to this really quickly. All right, let's put it in reverse and see what happens. Nobody behind me. Yeah, it feels totally natural. There's nothing wrong with the steering wheel. So maybe I'm a little biased because I spent my own money on this. But so far, I'm going to tell you right now that adjusting to a steering wheel like this in a Model 3 or a Model Y, or maybe you want to do a retrofit for another car, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But like I said, maybe I'm a little biased. So why don't we go visit a friend who doesn't even know that I've put this in my car, and let's see what he thinks. Maybe he'll take it for a drive. Maybe he might have a different opinion. So let's go see my friend Dustin and see what he thinks. Hey, buddy. Oh, thanks for washing your hair for my video.
Thanks. I combed my hair for the video.
So listen, when I texted you and I said that I wanted your reaction on something, you thought I had a plaid Model S, didn't you?
I just wanted to
You
see
thought
what
I
you
had a
talk-
plaid Model S. And I told you close but not quite.
All right.
All right, so here's what I want. I want you to give me your opinion, and I want you to drive my car and tell me what you think. All right?
Okay.
Come here. Open the door and tell me what you think.
Oh, wow. I do want to ride this. Where did you get this?
Ancient Chinese secret.
Okay.
No, AliExpress. There's companies out there that make these.
Okay.
And I chose one that was as close as possible to the Model S's new steering wheel. You know, a lot of them have bumps and stuff, but I wanted something that was a little closer. Let's go for a drive.
Yeah, let's see how this feels.
Yeah, I want you to tell, because like I said, I might be a little bit biased on this, but I want your opinion. Okay?
Okay.
All right,
great.
let's do it. Now, Dustin owns not only a Model 3, but he just picked up a Model Y, so
I'm familiar.
with how these cars drive, so I want his initial reaction. I've already taken it for a drive, and I have my own opinions, but I want yours, because you're unwashed.
I don't mind. The feeling is nice. Now, keep in mind, I've never driven a vehicle with a yoke before.
Neither have I. Go to a traffic circle.
Okay. We're going. There's
Yeah,
one up
go
here.
to roundabout, and then tell me how you feel.
Was the installation easy?
Yes. Removal, not so much. Actually, the worst part of it was getting the airbag out, because you got to put a couple of little
Oh, wow.
Allen keys in the sides to pop it out, and if you don't get it just right, I spent a good 20 minutes trying to pop it out. Once I got it, I mean, I can do it easily now.
We'll do a couple little loops.
Yeah. Go around. Tell me what you think.
So you see, I'm making this turn, and the yoke is
why are you
completely.
using? Yeah, okay.
upside
I'm not
down.
telling you what to do. You do what you need to do.
When I'm holding the yoke, I want to keep my hands on either side of the yoke.
Are you 10 and 2 driver?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's probably the problem.
part of it.
You just want to look at your old house, don't you?
You'll never know it's me.
He just moved recently. He's right by his old house.
It feels nice, no question about it.
You like the flat bottom?
It's low, but you can adjust that, right? I
Well,
mean, this
again,
is-
you're using my driver profile,
Yeah,
not
I was going to
yours,
say
right?
this is your profile. I would elevate the wheel a little more.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting the yoke to be the real yoke is smaller than this, right?
No, it's about the same size, as
Is
far as
it?
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
It feels nice, no question about that. If we could throttle the radius through software, I guess
You're going to
less
scrape the
precise.
battery. Go over sideways.
Oh,
Yeah, okay, my car's low. And if you don't straddle if you don't straddle the bumps, you'll scrape the battery.
Oh,
The perils of having a performance Model 3 that's 2 inches lower. Don't be using your phone when you're driving, that's bad.
I'm just charging it in
Yeah,
my car. That's
exactly.
what I'm doing.
Just charge it.
You get used to it really quick. I will say that.
Yeah?
Yeah. It did feel a little strange, especially turning it right over
Mhm.
at the beginning. But that last turn there, you can see, it's
You're already
taken
starting to adjust.
all of 5 minutes for.
Not even.
Let's do a parking
Yep.
test. I'm gonna back it into my driveway
Mm-hmm.
just because it'll look nice sitting beside that midnight silver Model Y.
Very nice.
Oh, see that?
Yeah, you're a 10 and 2 driver. That's why.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. I'm not.
Not too bad.
What do you think? Not too bad?
I really like the look.
It is cool looking, huh?
The look, it looks fantastic. I will say that.
Did you know that the Model 3 drawing that we all got back in the day? Remember when you ordered a Model 3 and you stood in line and then they sent you the little gift in the mail, which
That's
was
right.
a little thank you letter?
Yes.
Did you ever
It
really
had-
pay attention to it?
No.
Oh.
No.
Go back and look at it.
Okay.
And look at the steering wheel in the picture.
It's nice. I can get used to it.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cost?
Oh.
I guess we.
I'll
can
put
get
a
into
link
that
in the
later.
video description. You guys can check out the price.
Yeah.
I spent my own money. This isn't sponsored by the company that made the steering wheel or anything
Yeah.
like that. I figured, you know what? Might as well get used to this. I kind of like the look, and I was willing to take the risk and
Yeah.
try it out. Personally, I like it, but I think your adjustment was mostly because you're a 10 and 2 guy.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm a down here kind of guy.
Okay. Oh, I can see how this would be very nice on autopilot.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. All right, actually one of the side benefits of having this new steering wheel is I actually can put my camera in front and talk to you guys. Isn't that great? Final thoughts on this steering wheel. Obviously you heard from my personal opinion of driving the car, and you just heard from my friend Dustin, and obviously his opinion is different from mine. I kind of expected that. As I said earlier in the video, Tesla seems to be hell-bent, nay, maybe obsessed with yokes. Now we have the Model S, the refresh that has a yoke. We saw it on the Roadster, the next-gen Roadster prototype, and that's a given. That car is absolutely going to get it. The outlier, in my opinion, right now is the Cybertruck. A lot of people are kind of, on the fence as far as that truck. A lot of people are saying, well, the truck really shouldn't have a yoke, and other people are like, I'm okay with it. I'm kind of on the fence, although I'm kind of leading on the side of Tesla actually going through and actually doing it. As I said earlier, Tesla's not going back in time. They're not actually going to put steering stocks and stuff on the Model S. Matter of fact, I actually looked at the regulations in the US, and you know what? There is nothing in the regulations that says the steering wheel has a particular shape. Matter of fact, they don't even tell you what buttons to put on there. Tesla's just going all in. The only thing the regulations care about is that the steering wheel has to have a clearly identified location where the horn is, as far as like putting an icon on there. And I suspect this will be the problem when I drive the Model S, that the placement of the buttons for the turn signals is going to be a bit of a problem. I understand, you get used to that, that's fine. But going back to what I said earlier, I think that doing a steering wheel like this as a retrofit, as a third-party product, for people that have a Model 3, maybe even a Model Y, or maybe another Tesla, as long as you have the turn signal stocks, maybe even the gear shifter, I don't think it's a bit of a problem. It takes a little bit of adjusting, not so much in some cases, but I'm happy with this. I like it. Do I recommend it for everybody else? Well, that's for you to decide. As always, I will leave a link in the video description if you're interested in looking at a steering wheel like this. Again, I'm more interested in hearing about your comments. Let me know what you think down below, whether you like a steering wheel like this or this is something that you would do. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. I've got some really cool stuff coming for you guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Bye.